You're listening to WATB 1420, Decatur, Georgia.
Come to the Georgia Renaissance Festival, where you'll see
Robin Hood, a Mary Queen, hordes of swords and juggling, men in tights who like to fight with sharp things in their hands.
Yeah.
Clothing, jewelry, pottery, it's like you've won the lottery. Stop on by.
Why not hurry?
For fun and food and drink.
The Renaissance Festival is open every weekend through June 4th, just south of Atlanta's airport on I-85. Get discount tickets at select Sam's Clubs or at GARenfest.com. It's more fun than you can shake a turkey leg at.
You're now listening to the
If you L-O-V-E me, take me by the hand and show me, put a ring on it and let me flaunt it, show me things I ain't never seen before, then give me all I need and more. Don't give another man space to take your place, and I'll show you that my love for you is here to stay. I'll be true and I'll be yours forever. Hey baby, if you L-O-V-E me, love me. If you L-O-V-E me, love me. If you L-O-V-E me, love me. If you L-O-V-E me, love me, love me. Oh, tell me I'm beautiful and treat me like your queen. You love me. Just wine and dine and show me all the finer things. You love me. I can make your wildest dreams come true. You love me. Don't give another man space to take your place. You love me. And I'll show you that my love for you is here to stay. You love me. I'll be true and I'll be yours forever. If you L-O-V-E me, love me. 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 I've waited long enough, waited long for your love. This is what I need, and I need it now. I'll give you all I got, give you all that I have, but only if you love me. Hey baby, you know it's not that hard. I'm pretty simple, I'd like to think. If you L-O-V-E love me. If you L-O-V-E me, love me. Hey, give it to me, baby. L-O-V-E me, love me. If you L-O-V-E me, love me. Love me, me. I need you to love me. If you L-O-V-E you to love me. If you L-O-V-E me, love me. If you L-O-V-E me, love me.
Hello, Atlanta. This is Cheryl Cooley of the all-female band Climax, letting you know we will be performing at the Legends Live Music Festival at Raid Walker Park in Stone Mountain, Saturday, July 22nd, with artists Confunction, Force MDs, Ready for the World, and Champagne. We'll see you there.
Hi, this is Devin Dozier with Dozier Media. I'd like to wish all the mothers out there a very happy Mother's Day, including mine, with much love and gratitude here on 1420 WATB Atlanta.
Taught me everything you've given me. I always keep it inside. the driving force in my life. Yeah. There isn't anything or anyone that I could be, and it just wouldn't feel right if I didn't have you by my side. Oh, you were there for me to love and care for me when skies were gray. Whenever I was down, you were always there to comfort me. And no one else can be what you have been to me. You will always be the girl in my life for all time. Mama, you know I love you. Ooh, you know I love you, Mama. Mama, you're the queen of my heart. Your love is like tears from the stars. Yes, he said, Mama, I just want you to know, loving you is like food to my soul. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Oh. You're always down for me, have always been around for me, even when I was bad. You showed me right from my wrongs. Yes, you did. And you took up for me when everyone was down on me. You always did understand. You gave me strength to go on. There were so many times looking back when I was so afraid. And then you come to me and say to me, I could fix anything. And no one else can do what you've done for me. You'll always be, you will always be the girl in my life. Ooh, oh, Mama, Mama, you know I love you. You know I love you. You know I love you, Mama. Ooh, Mama, you're the queen of my heart. Your love is like tears from the stars. Like tears from the stars. Mama, I just want you to know. Mama, I just want you to know. Loving you is like food to my soul. Never gonna go a day without you. Fills me up just thinking about you. I'll never go a day without my mama. You know, mama, you know I love you. Mama, you're the queen of my heart. The queen of my heart. Your love is like tears from the stars. Your love is like tears from the stars. Mama, I just want you to know. Mama, loving you is like food to my soul. Loving you is like food to my soul. Oh, yeah.
And that was music from Boys to Men with a song for Mama. A special tribute to our mothers on Mother's Day. Wishing all of you a happy Mother's Day, especially mine, my sister, and my aunt. We actually have a legend of a mother as a special guest calling in today, Miss Rena Scott and Micheal Henderson. We actually will be playing some new music from Miss Rena Scott and her daughter, Nina Snare. Stay tuned. We have that interview and new music coming right up here on 1420 WATB Atlanta.
Do you have a creative talent and are looking to network with other forms of creative talent? Or are you an individual or business that needs creative assistance in taking your brand to the next level? Well, do we have the perfect network for you? ATL Customs and the Creative Talent Network has partnered with the Radio Angels of 1420 AM WATB Atlanta to scout, promote, brand, and develop artistic and creative talent across the board. The ATL Customs Creative Talent Network is a social network developed for all forms of artistic and creative talent. We are currently looking for graphic designers, web designers, cosmetologists, singers, writers, rappers, producers, photographers, videographers, and more. If you are interested in becoming a part of this network, please visit us on the web at www.atlcustoms.com/network or www.creativetalent.network today.
Hello, Atlanta. This is Cheryl Cooley of the all-female band Climax, letting you know we will be performing at the Legends Live Music Festival at Raid Walker Park in Stone Mountain, Saturday, July 22nd, with artists Confunction, Force MDs, Ready for the World, and Champagne. We'll see you there.
How you doing, Rena?
Good. How you doing?
Oh, how's your Mother's Day going?
Good.
Wonderful. We are so happy to have you here with us on Mother's Day. We've been listening and waiting for this show to come up. I'm so excited. I want you to tell everybody a little bit about your music career because you are a legend. You have so much to offer to the young people that's coming up today. But we want to know a little bit about Rena and what Rena is doing right now.
Well, first I'd like to say Happy Mother's Day to all the loving, caring mothers out there. And I hope that your day is blessed and wonderful and filled with love.
Yes.
I am originally from Detroit, Michigan. I started singing when I was around 12 years old in a Baptist church choir. And one afternoon, I was down there with the choir, and they didn't know I could really sing, and sat on the bench with a piano player while in between services and started singing one of those songs that the lead singer sang, and they started shouting and running up the aisles, and I thought to myself, oh my God, because they said you could really sing, and I was like, oh, I didn't know. So that's when I really found out that I could sing, and that it was way bigger than me, that God had anointed me, and so I started from there and entered a major talent contest at the Fox Theater by a station called WCHB out of Detroit that they held every year, and they always had these major acts on, Motown acts, and that year it was the original Temptations.
All right. And Micheal,
David Russ,
Rena, Micheal just joined us.
Okay, great. Hey, Micheal.
Hey, happy Mother's Day.
Mr. Micheal Henderson, ladies and gentlemen. We've got both the duets on the line, and this is just awesome. For all you mothers out there, oh my God, I mean, y'all taking me way back, girl.
Well, don't say it like that, like too back.
No. I'm talking about back to good music.
Okay, I'm just messing with you. Yes, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, no. Finish what you were saying, Rena.
Oh, well, that's how I got into the music industry, and I was 1 out of 500 picked to be in the contest, and you can only imagine my first gig, or was a gig, a talent show, anything secular outside of the church was my first time. And being on that major stage with, the Temptations and all, I knew this is what I wanted to do. And so when I got paid my first gig at $25 to sing in a club, opening up for some of the top acts out of Motown, I thought, they're going to pay me for this. They're going to pay me to sing. I knew that I was hooked at that point. So I made my first record when I was 15, 16, and 17. I did 45s with a local production company, and then it ended up being on Epic Records. My first record was called I Just Can't Forget That Boy when I was 15 years old. So that was my entry into the music industry. I mean, it's a long list of things that I've done since. I got a chance to work with my mentor, Miss Aretha Franklin, at Carnegie Hall, and came to California and recorded with her on one of her albums. And you can only imagine, if you get a chance to work with your mentor, I mean, that's like beyond dreams. That it was just amazing. And then I worked with Micheal, did Take Me, I'm Yours. Someone saw me at a local club. He was looking for a girl to sing a duet with, and we went in the studio and did it, and the first take, we got Take Me, I'm Yours. And that was a major hit. And we toured all over America. And then after that, I moved to California and worked in Las Vegas at Caesar's Palace. And then I moved to California and was looking for a record deal. And 4 months after I got to California, I got the gig with the Jazz Crusaders, Joe Sample, Wilton Felder, and Styx Hooper. But I traveled all over Europe and the United States doing Street Life, one song, with 11 guys, which was awesome. Stadium crowds and with major acts like George Benson and some of Who's Who was amazing. But before that, after that, then I got a record deal. Got a record deal with a record label called Sedona Records. And they signed me, and I did an album called Love Zone. And then after that, things got quiet, and I was working all over California at the clubs and everything. I ended up starting my own record label called Amore Records, and I did a dual disc CD, music on one side, and 2 of my videos on the other side. And one of the singles went to #1 on the R&B hip-hop single sales with Billboard and crossed over to the pop charts at number 17. And also the other one went to number 5, peaked at number 5, and crossed over into the pop hot single sales. And then I did another album. So, we could go on forever, but the latest album, Take Me Away, I also did with producer Lloyd Tobin and co-wrote all the original songs and did all the background vocals. And I have a duet with my daughter, which I hope you do get in today and can play, Thank God For You, that I wrote for us to sing, and I call it my official Mother's Day song.
All right.
And and then I have some singles. I have a new single out now, a song that I wrote with Lloyd, a love thing on that same CD, and it ended up being picked up on a label in the Netherlands called The Room Recordings, and it's out right now, and it's called A Love Thing BM Remix, and I'm very excited about the collaboration with this new label. Things are going very well.
All right.
And they're getting ready to put out the next remix, which is going to be a clubhouse mix on A Love Thing.
All right.
And then we got a song coming out that I'm doing a remake on Aretha, again, my mentor, that'll be coming out this summer, and another duet with my daughter with a Christmas song for Christmas. So, and right now, Micheal and I are touring and putting dates together as we speak, and we just did a date here in California, in the L.A., Hollywood area, and it was sold out, and we just had a grand time. So I'm going to let Micheal speak a little bit.
I bet you did. And Micheal, we also would like to know how you got your start and what you're doing now.
Oh, I'm not telling nothing. I'm not saying nothing. I'm not saying a thing. And Rena, did you tell him that we went to elementary school together?
What?
Chorus reminds me of that.
We went to the same elementary school.
It's called Kosciuszko, and it's in Hamtramck, which is a small little suburb outside of Detroit, where a lot of Polish people and black people lived, and they lived amongst each other and got along very well. And Micheal, Micheal was a little ahead of me, so I didn't even realize that Micheal and I had went to the same elementary school, Kosciuszko, and that just tripped me out. And then he was on Joseph Campo, the strip in Hamtramck, and actually saw President Kennedy driving by. So you got to tell the story, Micheal.
Yeah, that's we lived in Hamtramck, Michigan, at that time, and I started in the early '60s, mid '60s, working with a group called the Detroit Emeralds, the Fantastic Four, and many, many other artists during that time. But I was listening to the Funk Brothers on the radio at the Martha Jean McQueen's radio station. I won't give you too much stuff. I won't talk too much about it, but I used to listen to the Funk Brothers on the radio every week on the Monster Gene the Queen show, and they were live on the radio.
All right.
The Funk Brothers were live on the radio, so you could listen to them. And I recorded every show. Every show they played, I recorded it. And so the next thing, I started learning how to play bass like James Jamerson. And so I taught myself, I was like the age of 12. And I taught myself how to listen. So, you could take 78 records and put them on real fast, on the fast speed, and you could hear all the notes. So I used to take the records and put them on 78. I could hear all the notes, and I learned how to play bass. I won't go through the whole history of bass playing, but I used to listen to them, and then I became, in my own right, a sought-after musician in Detroit, and I worked with like I said, the Detroit Emeralds, Edwin Starr, the Martha Reeves and the Vandellas, Aretha Franklin, Stevie Wonder, the Originals, Marvin Gaye, and everybody that was doing it. Jimmy Ruffin used to come up my house and pick me up to go on tour. David Ruffin, and Funk Brothers. I worked with the Funk Brothers. I started working with the Funk Brothers and doing sessions, and because everybody in Detroit lived around the corner from one another, Am I right, Aretha? I started calling
Rena.
Aretha. See?
Wow, those are some heavy hitters.
Right. Rena can attest to this. That down the street was Aretha, and then around the corner from her was Marvin Gaye. Smokey Robinson lived down the street. And Berry Gordy lived over a few blocks over, and then everybody, the Four Tops lived over here, and Eddie Kendricks lived over there. And you would be in Detroit, you would run into these people all over the place. And so I worked with a ton of those artists during that time. And one day I was working in New York at the Apollo Theater and a couple other venues. In walked a gentleman, and I was at the Copacabana, and he came in with Betty Davis, the singer Betty Davis, and it was Miles Davis. And so he came upstairs in the Copacabana and told Stevie Wonder, "I'm taking your effing bass player." And nobody could hear it at that time, but I heard it. And other people heard it, and Stevie Wonder shook his head. Miles said, "I'm taking your ass." I'm gonna say it. Your bass player. And then he gave me his phone number, and I called him, and that's how I started with Miles, and that was like 1970. 1970, I did Jack Johnson with Miles Davis and Herbie Hancock and John McLaughlin and many other great artists on that particular record.
Wow.
That's when I kind of first broke out, and in Detroit, the record companies never put the musicians' names on the records. So I told Miles Davis what was taking place in Detroit, Michigan. So he put my name on the cover with the other guys, Herbie Hancock and John McLaughlin and Benny Maupin and all those guys. And that's the first time my name appeared was in 1970.
Okay. How did you two start working together?
Well, I knew about Miss Scott all through Detroit. She's a legend, and she's a legend, and everybody wanted to work with her. They used to call her, and she's Johnny on the spot. She could do anything, sing any kind of music, do any kind of anything that you needed done. She could get it done, and she was always doing her own shows. I remember, Rena, was it your mother that was your manager?
Yes, she was a mess too. My mother was known far and wide.
Was your mother your manager?
She was, but I was so young. She had to come and manage, be there, my legal guardian, to sing in those nightclubs because I was opening up for a lot of the Motown acts at, 13, 14, 15 years old, like I opened up for, actually, like after I did that Fox Theater thing, I ended up doing the 20 grand with the Temptations, but then Dennis Edwards was with them at that time, and I was actually opening up. So it was like transitioning, going from starting to actually opening up for like the Undisputed Truth, the Temptations, the Originals, the Four Tops. You can only imagine that being like 13, 14, 15 years old and being able to open up for these acts, and they talking to you and sharing their history with you, which was amazing. And then the ironic thing too, later on, I ended up touring with David Ruffin, when he was on as a solo act, and also ended up touring with Bobby Womack. And so I've had just a great time at working with some great artists. And Michael really topped it off when we did this duet. Sort of introduced me to the world with Take Me, I'm Yours. So I will never forget that. That was major. And then I ended up getting my own record deal after that.
She was working with everybody.
With Buddha and Arista, and it was produced by M. Toomey and Reggie Lucas, which was the dynamic dual team for producers at that time. They had just finished Phyllis Hyman and Roberta Flack and Stephanie Mills, and now they're working on my project. That was major. So what a blessing that was. And also, I was inducted into the R&B Hall of Fame last year, which was, I cannot tell you, with Dionne Warwick and Kathy Hughes and just the who's who in the business. I mean, I'm sitting behind Dionne, and Kathy is sitting in front of me. I can only tell you what a blessing and a privilege that was as well.
All right, awesome. Now, what were you saying, Michael?
I was saying that Miss Scott had worked with so many people that it was inevitable for us to get together. It was all in the cards. It was time, and so the magic happened on the very first day. When we were in the studio at United Sound, she came by. Now I originally wrote this song for Aretha Franklin.
And you know what, Michael? I didn't find that out until about a year ago. I was like, I could not believe. I said, I'd never do that.
I wrote it for Aretha Franklin, but her brother Cecil never took it to her. You remember Cecil?
Let me tell you how ironic that is, Michael. Cecil started
Cecil
managing me.
Was Aretha's brother.
And of course, Aretha being my mentor, I was like, ugh, because, a pastor friend of his, and they were in church, a lot. Aretha's father was pastoring this big church, and so Cecil was a preacher too. And this guy, one of the pastors, took a demo to him and said, "You got Doc," they call him Doc. Doc, you got to hear this young girl. She sounds like a young Aretha. And of course, at that time I was patterning everything I sang after Aretha, and I soon learned from masters in the industry, baby, you are a singer, but there's only one Aretha. You got to start developing your own style. But anyway, go from that. Yes, I did know Cecil, because Cecil was the one that asked me if I wanted to work with Aretha when she was getting ready to do Carnegie Hall and come to California for the first time. And so, yes, I did know Cecil, but I didn't know that situation with you until a year ago almost.
Yeah. I was trying to get that to Aretha, and but you know what? It wasn't meant for Aretha. It was meant for you. And I didn't know it at the time. God works in mysterious ways. You hear me?
Yes, he does.
Yes, he does.
Yeah, the song was meant for you. And it had to go through its challenges, and it had to go through what it went through, but it landed with the right person. The perfect voice for that song was Rena Scott. And
it was magic. It really was magic. I don't think we went in the studio, and we were like standing across from each other. So he had a mic on one side, and I had a mic on the other side, where we could actually look at each other and interact when we were singing. And it was magic. It just was magic. Ray Parker Jr. played on it, and Randy
Yeah. Ollie
Jacobs,
Brown
who
is on
toured
the
with
drums.
Michael
The
for a
guy
long
that
time,
played with
guitar
Rick
player. But
James and you and I.
it just was magic.
That's Ollie Brown. It's Sylvester Rivers who did many hit records. He wrote In the Nighttime with me as well, Sylvester Rivers. And those guys were at our gig. They played with us at the Catalina last week.
It was off
Jr.
the
and
chain. I'm
Sylvester
telling you, we
Rivers.
have this. The stage is not very big. Michael has a 10-piece band. He's got 4 horns. I mean, and they were kicking, but we had like just inches to move around, and it turned out so great. Everybody just loved it, and they've invited us back because we sold out. People were like around the corner.
Okay. And so are you guys touring together now? Because, Michael, you're here in Atlanta. What are you going to do with us?
Well, we're going to do the doggone thing. Now, you know, I played Atlanta last year. Myself and Valerie Simpson we did the Mabel House Barnes Theater in Mableton, Georgia, and for 4th of July, and that was fantastic. And then I did the Rialto Theater last year at the Rialto with the Dramatics and Gene Carn. And so right now. We're setting up to come. Rena and I are setting up. We play Philadelphia. Rena and I June the 2nd with Gene Carn.
Okay.
And so we're going to bring that show to Atlanta and everywhere we can bring it. You know, we're going to bring it wherever we can bring it. Because people want to hear that stuff. I mean, they're online. Really going crazy, After I worked with Miles Davis in 1970, I was able to get in and start recording with, when Marvin Gaye did "What's Going On," that album.
Mm-hmm.
I was in recording his next album with him, and the next single for that next album was "You're the Man," and I did that with Marvin Gaye. It went top 10, and at the same time, I had What You See Is What You Get in the Rain with the Dramatics, and at the same time, I was on the record with Miles Davis, On the Corner. They were all on the charts at the same time.
Okay, and you've done some phenomenal things with stars as recent as Snoop Dogg, right?
As Snoop Dogg?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Come When I Call on his Murder Was the Case album, and Beyonce and Jay-Z. I've been, Kenny Lattimore just redid Starship, and Micheal did Starship, and the Sax Pack did Starship, and
that's a very popular song.
J.
I said that's a very popular song. When you look at it on YouTube, it has, you know what I'm saying, 1 million views and still going. So, we love You On My Starship. As a matter of fact, we're going to play that today. And we're going to definitely play some more Michael Henderson and Rena Scott music. And we want to thank you so much for calling in and giving us this interview. But I do want both of you to just giving a little bit of advice to our upcoming, because you're the ones who paved the way. You made the path. If it weren't for artists like you, our old schools, our legends, we would not have the young market that we have today. So I want you to give them some advice, and I want you to speak from the heart, what you really feel. So, Rena, we're going to let you go first.
Well, I would say surround yourself, first of all, around people who love and care about you. And then really perfect your craft. Be good at what you do, practice, work it. Church was really a place that helped me perfect my craft, as well as school, because I was in music all through school. I sang for my 6th grade graduation. Going into junior high school with 3 little boys backing me up, because once I found out I could sing, then there it was, and I wanted to be versatile. I didn't just want to sing one kind of music. I mean, I listened to Aretha, Barbra Streisand, Gladys Knight, Patti LaBelle. I listened to all those ladies, Nancy Wilson, to perfect my craft, to begin to create Rena Scott. And then I learned the business. And you have to take some chances, because if you don't take some chances, you never will. But now, see, we didn't have the internet back then. They have so many tools to work with now, the internet. And that's how Micheal and I push our stuff as well. I'm on that internet 24/7, networking, and putting my music out there on the different sites for people to hear and to become familiarized with who I am. Of course, I've been in the music business for over 47 years, and so and I praise God that I'm still here doing my thing. And this is another phase in my life that Micheal and I are getting back together, and I'm doing all these recordings and things that are happening. But yes, perfect your craft, and if you can get in a church choir, or you can do, some things that involve you to push you to become the best you can be, and try to get on some of these big shows like, The Voice, and I don't know what the other ones are here now. I think America's Got Talent. Get in these different talent shows and things to perfect your craft, and sing and perform in front of your friends and family to get good at what you're doing, and do a lot of networking out there, the Instagram, the Facebook, the YouTube, and all those things. I learned how to put videos together myself. If I didn't, if you didn't have the money, I had to put some pictures together. You got to be creative.
That's right. Micheal?
Yes, I agree with Rena. I concur. I agree with what she just said. And, you got to be careful of why you're getting into something. Because, it's just like in the morning when you wake up and you hear the birds singing. Well, they don't sing because they're getting paid. They don't sing. They sing because God made it possible for them to sing. Mm. And once you do something because you love to do it, then comes the money, then comes the fame, then comes your popularity, and so on and so forth. A lot of people get into the music industry for the wrong reason. They get in because they want to have girls, or they want to party, and you see, and the very thing that they get in for, you've heard a lot of. I hate to say this, but a lot of people are no longer here because they partied themselves to death.
Well,
you see, so you got to be very careful what you ask for, because you just might get it.
My.
And see, and then when you get it, now if you didn't listen to your mother and your father, or your uncles and your aunties and your grandma, especially here on Mother's Day, see, you may just not receive the message. And the message, one of the great messages is that the people that came before you know better than you do about the steps you're about to take. Mm-hmm. You see? So if you don't listen to them, then how can you avoid a lot of those pitfalls? Now, some of the things you're not going to have any choice in the matter. You're just going to have to go along and say, I thank God. And, like right now, I have a curriculum that I'm going to various schools and teaching about from Motown to Miles and beyond. And I go to schools, elementary schools, high schools, colleges, and I go in with my curriculum. It's called From Motown to Miles and Beyond. And it's a master class. So I go in and I try to teach the youth about what we're doing and where we come from. So they can follow me on my Facebook page and Twitter and Instagram and all of that stuff. Micheal Henderson. Micheal Henderson Info is my Facebook, and follow me at the Starship on Twitter and Instagram, Your Starship. And this is how we roll today. I think of a lot of the artists that we came up with had maybe hung on just a little longer and had an Instagram and a Facebook page, that they still be here.
Right.
Because a lot of them never knew how much people really loved them. Do you hear me?
That is so true. That is so true.
How can you know who loves you when you're in a room with the curtains pulled? You got a remote control in your hand, and your fans are not all around you to cheer you on. But you can be like a fly on the wall today on Facebook.
That is so true. That is so true. Now, Rena, we can follow you on Twitter too. What's your handle?
Yes, please. I have a Facebook fan page. Please come and like it. Twitter, follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on LinkedIn. YouTube, I have about 8 pages. People have posted from my first 45 when I was 15. I just can't forget that boy up until now. My latest singles, and Micheal and I are building this thing again after so many years, so we're so excited, and we're trying to come to a city near you. So please reach out to us and let us know if you want us to come to a city near you and perform. And my website is renascott.net. So I appreciate all your love and support. Couldn't do it without you.
All right.
Hey, one last thing for me. One last thing I like to say is that, Rena, I'm looking forward to working with you again. We had such a great time in Los Angeles. I want to say to all of the fans that, especially in Philadelphia, our next show is June the 2nd. So get your tickets. They're available now. Just go online. Our next show is June the 2nd. And you'll be able to see Rena Scott and Gene Kern and Michael Henderson together with a big 10-piece band in Philadelphia, June the 2nd.
All right.
It's so fun. You don't miss it. I'm telling you, the tickets are going fast.
And you can get the tickets at Eventbrite, on Eventbrite.
All right. Well, we definitely want to see you when you guys come here.
Yes.
We're going to go out with some great music by our guests, Michael Henderson and Rena Scott, and Take Me, I'm Yours.
All right.
All right.
When I first heard that you wanted to meet me, how could I refuse? The way you shake your hips, ooh, just drives me wild. I was leaving, but I can't leave right now. Can you come with me? Can you
Hello, Atlanta. This is Cheryl Cooley of the all-female band Climax, letting you know we will be performing at the Legends Live Music Festival at Wade Walker Park in Stone Mountain, Saturday, July 22nd, with artists Confunction, Force MDs, Ready for the World, and Champagne. We'll see you there.
Brand new from Rena Scott and her daughter.
A friend indeed, someone you can lean on. You've been my little girl since you came into this world. Now you've grown into a real lady. I know it's time for you to spread your wings, but if you need anything, reach out to me. I thank God for you. Oh, I know He will guide your way. I thank God for you. I thank God. As long as we live, this pledge of love we give to each other. Love and gratitude is what I feel for you, for everything you've done for me. No one can take your place or ever erase all of our precious memories. You show me what a woman should be. Taught me right from wrong, so I can stand on my own day. Yeah, yeah. I thank God for you. I thank God, thank God, thank God, thank God, thank you. He will guide your way. Oh yes. I thank God for you. I thank God, thank God. Oh, as long as we live, this pledge of love we give. Ooh, you make me proud of you in so many ways. And you were there beside me every step of the way. We can truly say that no matter comes what may, nothing can separate us from the love we share. I thank God for you. Thank you. I wanna thank Him too. He will guide your way every day. I thank God for you. Thank God, thank God, thank God, thank God. As we live, oh, this blessed love we give. Said I wanna thank you, yeah. Thank God for you. Yes, I will, yes, I can, I know I will. Thank you for you. He will guide your way. I know it will. Yes, He will. Oh, thank God, oh yeah. As long as we live, I know this pledge of love we give. I just wanna thank you every day. I thank God for
And that was new music from Miss Rena Scott. Thank God for you. That was actually Rena Scott and her daughter. And that is a great song to play today for Mother's Day. We would also like to thank you for tuning in and thank our special guests and callers, Miss Rena Scott and Micheal Henderson. And we would like to wish all of our mothers out there a very, very glorious and happy Mother's Day here from Radio Angels, 1420 WATB AM. Tune in to us next week and we'll be sure to have a great show for you. We're going to end this show with a little bit more Micheal Henderson, In the Nighttime.
Funny, just seems kind of funny that every time it's sunny, can't get along with my honey. Whoa, 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 whoa. But in the nighttime, it always comes out right. In the nighttime, it always comes out right. Jogging, I can't keep up with you. In the park, I missed you. But you better not try again. Oh, 'cause in the nighttime, it always comes out right. In the nighttime, it always comes out right. I'm not trying to say that I don't like the daytime, but the going is better for me. In the night time, with the phone always ringing, radio singing, I just want to satisfy you. Hey baby, is it? It's just too much. I know it's just too much. Hey, 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 baby, it always comes out right. Hey baby, in the nighttime, it always comes out right. Come on, come on, come on. My best stuff on. Get ready, baby, don't take too long, 'cause I